This week on Fighting Fraud with AARP Connecticut, criminals targeting their victims using devious tactics to steal their money.
Unfortunately, he lost his entire retirement account, over $500,000 in this scam.
How scammers use cryptocurrency to target one loving father. Then, changing the narrative.
Fraud victims have suffered enough, and they deserve empathy and respect. It is not their fault, it is the criminal's fault.
How AARP is aiming to help people cope with the devastating fallout from fraud. And being cautious with communication.
You should be wary of any incoming email, phone call, or text that's asking you to provide money.
The red flags to watch out for when it comes to payments requested with criminal intent. Plus, crypto can be confusing.
I think the misconception is that you have to be interested in cryptocurrency or understand cryptocurrency in order to lose money in cryptocurrency.
Find out what ATMs have to do with this specific kind of scam.
Welcome to Fighting Fraud with AARP Connecticut. We have a great show for you today, but first, I'd love to hear from you. Is there a certain scam you'd like us to spread awareness about? Comment below and we'll consider it for a future show. Today we're talking about the different types of payments used in scams. So what exactly is a payment scam? Here's a look at what we mean. When criminals are targeting their victims, they will ask for money in a variety of ways. This can include, but isn't limited to, cash, credit and debit cards, checks, wire transfer, gift cards, cryptocurrency, and peer-to-peer payment services or apps. Coming up, our experts will explain how people committing fraud or demanding victims use these payment methods in different ways. First up, one scam that saw huge growth in 2022 was the investment scam. Attorney Rubin is here to tell us the story of one man who was targeted.
We had a situation with a client who was approached on a professional social networking site. He had a special needs child and had been posting some stories about that situation, along with some news links and how it had impacted his life. This scammer approached him as an individual who worked as a financial planner in the cryptocurrency markets and offered him this investment opportunity in their network and system that wasn't available anywhere else. It was this amazing opportunity, and every time he put money in, it would show in their system as a gain. But he never tried to take anything out. He just kept putting more and more in because he thought he was making money. And they encouraged him to cash out his IRA. So he maneuvered his entire IRA, he liquidated it, and he moved it into this investment opportunity. Well, a few months later, it had grown according to them. And he said, well, hey, let me get the money. They said, you can't because the IRS needs to be paid. Well, the IRS wasn't looking for their money because for tax reasons, that's just a completely inaccurate statement. So he then was told by them, can you get a payday loan? We need more money. And then they sent him a fake letter that was allegedly from the IRS and called him alleging to be from the IRS to ask for more. Unfortunately, he lost his entire retirement account, over $500,000 in this scam. And he's a very educated person. This is not, this guy's very educated. He's very extremely intelligent. And it just looked so good. And their website looks so good. This is a very real risk, and it occurs every day.
Later on, we'll hear more about cryptocurrency, how it works, and why you don't have to be an expert to be targeted with this payment method. Now, we're going to look at some of the red flags to look for so you can protect yourself in the future.
Really, when we look back at 2022, the biggest trending scam was investment scams. So first of all, if anybody that you have never met in person comes to you with a sudden can't miss investment opportunity, that's one red flag to look at. The second red flag is if the term cryptocurrency or cryptocurrency ATM comes up, because predominantly that's how these scammers are getting paid. And then third, if anybody ever, whether it's involved in an investment scam or any other type of opportunity, if anybody ever tells you that you have to pay them a gift or an obligation by buying a gift card, that's the third red flag. 3 things: investment opportunities that you weren't looking for, a request for you to send money via crypto, or a request for you to send money via gift card.
Imagine you think a loved one is being targeted by a scammer and you have just minutes to intervene. We'll tell you how one son stepped in to help and why it's always important to tell someone and trust your gut.
Next up, Liz from AARP is joining us to talk about changing the narrative when it comes to fraud and how we talk about victims of these crimes.
Fraud victims have suffered enough, and they deserve empathy and respect. It is not their fault. It is the criminal's fault. So let's flip the narrative on the way that we all think about financial fraud victims.
Blaming the victim is a huge mistake. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry to use financial fraud. These scammers have sophisticated computer software, online research tools to go after and choose their targets wisely. Instead of victim shaming, let's just realize, hey, we could all be a victim and make it okay so we can know what's really going on so people are comfortable coming forward.
Instead of using words that are judgmental, switch to language that puts the focus and the blame where it belongs, which is on the criminals.
Thanks to both of you for that incredible information. Now, Seth is here to explain more about the confusing world of cryptocurrency.
I think the misconception is that you have to be interested in cryptocurrency or understand cryptocurrency in order to lose money in cryptocurrency. You might think, I don't know anything about crypto. I wouldn't even know where to begin. How would I buy it? This is not my thing. But similar to gift cards, these crypto ATMs are everywhere. You literally can pull up your phone, the map on your phone, and just search crypto ATM. And I guarantee you there are 5 or 6 just in your neighborhood. And I never knew these existed until I started looking for them. And now I can't, it's like one of those things you can't unsee. Literally, when I walk out of my grocery store, each week when I get my groceries, there's a machine that you can put your coins into. And there's a big sign on it that says, turn your cash into crypto. So unlike a gift card where, sometimes there's a limit, it's hard to buy $5,000 worth of gift cards because you're getting 10, 20 gift cards. That cryptocurrency ATM, you just put your card in and you go to a certain wallet that the criminal directs you to, and you can give them as much money as is in your bank account. And we really saw that in the FTC data from 2022. The investment-related scams doubled. They made up almost $4 billion, which is almost half of all reported losses in 2022. And so that's another area where that payment technology is really just throwing fuel on the fire.
Boy, this man has a story to tell. He lost almost $30,000 to a scammer. He lives right here in Connecticut. His wife was on the home computer and a window popped up saying their bank account had been hacked. He was ordered to call a number. The person who answered the phone was pretending to be part of the scam and fraud prevention department at his bank. She then ordered him to call another number. This time a gentleman answered, and this was the person who gave him the instructions to get his money back. And what he was told to do was go to his bank branch and take out the exact amount of money that had been stolen, allegedly, from his bank account, over $28,000. He went to the bank branch. The teller was a little suspicious, as was this gentleman, but he said they were just so convincing he had to follow their directions. This is a 75-year-old man, and he says that the teller questioned him about the money. The person on the phone who stayed on the phone could hear this conversation, and he ordered the gentleman here in Connecticut not to tell him the real reason he was taking out the money. He said, just tell them it's a family emergency, and that's what he did. So then the teller called his manager because that was a lot of money to take out all at once. And the manager was also suspicious. But at the end of the day, they decided this man was of sound mind. It was his money and he could take the money out. So he took out all $28,000 plus from his bank account. He was then ordered to find the nearest cryptocurrency machine. So this went from an imposter scam to a cryptocurrency scam. When he got to the cryptocurrency machine, he was ordered to open up a wallet and start putting the money in. Well, the bank branch wouldn't give him the money in anything larger than $100 bills. And the cryptocurrency machine wouldn't take any more than $15,000. So he sat there and put one $100 bill after another into that cryptocurrency machine. Then he had to find a second machine and do it again until all $28,000 had been deposited, when in reality, he was giving the scammer all of this money. But the scammer convinced them that in order to catch those who had hacked into his account, he had to take the exact amount of money that was already allegedly taken out again. Then he was told to go to another bank branch. At this point, his family started getting worried. They started calling him, trying to get a hold of him. The scammer told him not to answer. So his son used the app to find where his father's location was, then called the police department, and two fraud prevention specialists with the police department met him at that bank branch and told them this was all a sham and he should not take an additional amount of money out of his bank. This man was left angry, of course. And, you know, with these scams, there's not only the financial loss, but there's also the non-financial loss. There's the loss of peace of mind, the loss of trust, the loss of personal information. Those are all things that this poor man who was targeted by this scam has gone through in the months since this happened. And he's filed reports with several different government agencies, and all he's gotten back are form letters. So he's not promised to get any of that $28,000 back at this point. He was able to file an insurance claim and got $300 back, but the rest is in the hands of a scammer.
I know we touched on this earlier, but it cannot be stressed enough. Self-blame is very common when someone is targeted in any type of fraudulent encounter. Please remember, you are not to blame. The criminals are to blame for targeting people. They are 100% to blame. They use tactics created to get you into their web. Everyone is a target. Next up, we're talking about a scam we've touched on before that is very common: gift card scams.
You should be wary of any incoming email, phone call, or text that's asking you to provide money.
If somebody is demanding that you pay them by wiring money, like a wire transfer, by buying a gift card and sending them the PIN code to it, or by sending them cryptocurrency, walk away. Don't do it. It's a scam. That's exactly why scammers use these methods. They want you to pay these ways because it's like cash. Once you send it, it's gone. It's not traceable. We can't figure out where the request came from, where the money went, and that it's almost impossible for you to get the money back. It's always worth asking. It's always worth trying to track it down, especially if you realize immediately that you sent the money to a scammer. But I don't want to get anybody's hopes up. I don't want to raise those expectations. It's really, really hard to get the money back, and that's exactly why they ask you to send the money that way.
Once that money is off that gift card, it's impossible to trace. And so that's why it's really important to know this is the way I normally pay people for things. It's always important to sort of think of yourself as a detective in these situations. And so just, start to, pay attention to the clues. And if they don't add up, hang up the phone, walk away from the computer.
Please share what you learned today with everyone in your network, your family, friends, you name it. Because research shows that if you know about a scam, you're 80% less likely to engage with it. So remember, if you can spot a scam, you can stop a scam. It's so important for everyone out there to know you are not alone. Help is available.
I don't know anyone at this point who hasn't had their credit card number stolen at some point, or who hasn't bought something they shouldn't have, whether it was an online purchase or something else. We've all been victims of some sort of financial fraud. It's okay. It doesn't mean we're stupid. It doesn't mean we don't know what's going on or we're incompetent. It just means we're human.
You are not stupid. This is a crime that was perpetrated against you. These are criminals who know what they're doing, and we are here to help you however we can.
If you've been targeted, call the AARP Fraud Watch Network helpline at 877-908-3360. Together, we can catch these cons and flip the narrative when it comes to shame surrounding being a victim. Don't forget, there is help out there. Thank you so much for joining us today on Fighting Fraud with AARP Connecticut. Make sure to like and subscribe and check back for new episodes.
Join us for events in your community. Go to aarp.org/CT events. Look for the Con Artist Playbook by AARP Connecticut.